Hello, welcome to ANS Solver. This is the fifth question of the paper. As you can see, it is given that a complex number has root minus 1 plus root 3i. Okay, they have given us a function also here, or yeah, basically root of the equation. Okay, we need to write the another root of this equation. So you need to know an important property that when they give you one root here, another root is simply just the conjugate, okay, of the root. Basically, my answer for the another root is simply minus 1 minus root 3i, which is the conjugate for this. As in the conjugate, only the sign of the negative or the imaginary number changes. Okay, so this is one property you need to know, important property. Now, find the value of k and the third root of the equation. So I'll just write my equation here, which is kx cube plus 5x square plus 10x plus 4, which is equal to 0. Okay, so first I need to find the value of k. So how do I do something like this? I know whenever I put a root in the place of x, I'll get my value as 0. I know one of my root, okay, is simply minus 1 plus root 3i. Okay, so I can simply just plug it in this equation and solve it. But now what I can do is to save some time. If you see here, I need my x square for sure, because even to do x cube, I'll do it x square into x. So I need x square. That means I need the root the whole square for sure. So I can simply calculate that first. This is basically a plus b raised to 2. So I can write this as a square plus b square plus 2 into a into b. So now I can write this basically minus 1 the whole square is 1 plus root 3 whole square is simply 3i square, correct, minus 2 root 3i. See how much time this will save you. Now I know I square is minus 1. So this is 1 minus 3 minus 2 root 3i. So I can simply write this basically as minus 2 root 3i. Now to see how much time this will save you. I know this can be written as kx square into x plus 5x square plus 10x plus 4 equals to 0. So now I just simply need to substitute. I have this as k into, I know my x square is minus 2 root 3i multiplied by x, which is minus 1 plus root 3i, okay, plus 5 into minus 2 root 3i, okay, plus 10 into minus 1 plus root 3i plus 4, which I know is equal to 0. So now what I can do is I can simply expand everything. So first I'll expand this in a bracket. So this is basically minus 2 into minus 1 plus root 3i, and I can write this as minus 2 root 3i into minus 1 plus root 3i. Okay. Now what I can do is I can take 5 inside the bracket here, correct? So I can write this as minus 10 root 3i. Okay. Now I can take 10 inside the bracket here to get minus 10, plus 10 root 3i plus 4, which I know is equal to 0. So now I'll just write it here because I need some space. So now I can take minus 2 inside to get simply 2 minus 2 root 3i. Okay. I can take minus 2 root 3i inside to get plus 2 root 3i. Okay. Minus 2 into, I know root 3 into root 3 will give me 3, and I into I will give me I square. And here if you see, my minus 10 root 3i and plus 10 root 3i will get cancelled. So I'll have minus 10, which gives me minus 20 plus 4 equals to 0. So now I can say k into, I can cancel minus 2 root 3 and 2 root 3I here to get 2 minus, I know 2 into 3 is 6I square minus 20 plus 4 is minus 16 equals to 0. So I can write this as k into 2 minus 6, and I know I square is minus 1, which is minus 16 equals to 0. So now I can write this as k into 2 plus 6 minus 16 equals to 0, which is basically 2 into 8 equals to 16. So I know my k is basically 16 over 8, which is 2. So we found the value of k successfully. Now I need to find the third root of my equation. Okay, so for this we need to form a quadratic. You know the quadratic, the form of a quadratic is always x square minus the sum of roots into x plus the product of the roots is equal to 0. Now what we need to do is we need to calculate the sum of roots here. I know one root is minus 1 plus root 3i. So this is minus 1 plus root 3i, and another root which we calculated in part A is simply minus 1 minus root 3i. So I can basically write this as minus 1, and I know root 3i and root 3i will get cancelled. So my sum of roots is simply root minus 2. Now I can calculate my product of roots, which is basically minus 1 plus root 3i multiplied by minus 1 minus root 3i. So if you see here, this is basically a plus b into a minus b, which can be written as a square minus b square. So I can write this basically as 1 minus root 3, the whole square is simply 3, and I square is I square as it is. So this is basically root 3 1 minus 3, and I know I square is minus 1. So this is 1 plus 4, my bad, making silly mistakes. So minus 3 into minus 1 is basically positive 3, which gives me 4 as my product of roots. So I can simply substitute this into the equation, which is x square minus 2x plus the product of roots is 4, which is equal to 0. Okay, you don't need to equate it to 0. I'm just making a quadratic for now. So now I can say this is basically x square plus 2x plus 4. So now this is a process you need to know. How do we calculate the third root? We use something called as long division. What I do is, in the dividend, I write the full equation, which is basically, I know k is 2, so it's 2x cube plus 5x square. So it's simply 2x cube plus 5x square, okay, plus 10x plus 4. Okay, I got this 2 from the value of k, got it? And I know my the quadratic I have is simply x square plus 2x plus 4. So now, simple long division polynomials chapter. How do I solve this full division polynomial? I need a 2x cube here. So what should I multiply with x square to get a 2x cube here? I can simply multiply it by 2x, because x square into 2x gives me 2x cube. Got it? In the same way, I do 2x into 2x, which gives me 4x square. And 4 into 2x gives me 8x. Got it? So now I can multiply this full thing by negative. So I can take this 4 down here. Correct? Now when I take negative inside, I know this will get cancelled. I'll get x square here, because 5x square minus 4x square will give me x square. And 10x minus 8x will give me 2x. Okay? Now what do I simply do is, I know basically I need an x square here. So what should I multiply by x square to get an x square here? Simply multiply it by 1. So x square into 1 is x square plus 2x plus 4, and when I multiply negative to this, I know my remainder will be 0, which gives me an indication that the quotient I have is a root, okay, because my remainder is 0. Got it? So what I need to do is, I know this is basically 2x plus 1 is equal to 0, correct? So I know my x is basically equal to minus 1 over 2. So I can say my third root is simply minus 1 over 2, which is a real root. Okay, so yeah,